This is the Patrick Alexander Podcast. Welcome to your upgrade. Welcome to another episode of the Patrick Alexander Podcast. This is going to be a solo episode. So I've got my episodes where I've got my guests, and then once in a while, I just feel like having a chat with you guys. The idea behind these solo episodes is to have a think with you guys about things that I see happening in the holistic health scene, if you want to call it that way, and in particular in the carnivore scene. Now, the first episode, because this is the first solo episode, I'm going to kick it off hard. I'm going to start with one of the industry's flagships and a topic that I know can ruffle some feathers. Cholesterol. Because this is a big one, right? There's so many people in the carnivore community who are dealing with high cholesterol that I'd like to have a chat about this. Now, before I say anything, I'm not a doctor. I didn't study medicine. I'm not a cardiologist. I'm not here to give out any medical advice. I'm not even anti-doctor. I'm also not anti-cholesterol, anti-statins, whatever you might think, because I know what's going to happen down in the comments. People are going to come at me hard. So let's just get that out of the way. My idea is just to sit with you here and to reflect on something. Now, when it comes to reflection, just like in my normal podcasts, if I say things here that trigger you, can I ask you for one thing? Can you just, instead of straight away get onto your keyboard and start typing and getting your opinion out there, can you sit back for a moment, take a deep breath, and look within what triggers you so much in what I'm saying? Because I feel, and this is a whole different topic, we can discuss that another day, that people are too much on their high horses right away. Something gets said online by a random person, because let's be clear, I'm just a random person online.
Great, it's just some random guy. Hello?
And people need to write their opinion about it. So, whatever I say in this episode, if it comes across as medical advice, it's not meant that way. Okay? I'm just seeing things happening. Here we go. So I've been doing a lot of, I've been recording a lot of podcasts lately. I just started this channel. These podcasts are going to be released over time. I've been recording a lot of them. And the idea behind the podcast that I do is that they feature people who have gone through a massive life transformation, mostly thanks to starting a carnivore diet, a meat only, or at least a very meat heavy diet. People have been dropping weight like never before. People have been seeing an amazing amount of energy influx. Brain fog, gone. People are talking about arthritis, gone. Other joint pains, gone. Oh man, I just recently recorded an episode with a lady. Hashimoto's thyroid disease, pretty much gone. Psoriasis and other skin issues, gone. Sleep, massively improved. And all of these people, and I'm talking about all the people that I've been speaking to, once they went to a carnivore diet, they also started a workout routine, be it hiking, weightlifting, cycling, running, but they started to get physically active. Now, if I told you this just in isolation, you would think this is the holy grail. Like, all these health issues disappear and people start working out and they're feeling great and they're losing their weight up to a point where their bodies are beautifully balanced. That is amazing. But, and I think you could see that but coming. Then they go to their doctor for a routine check, perhaps, and they get their blood test done. Their triglycerides, beautiful. their fasting blood sugar levels, amazing. Their HDL, beautiful. Their CRP, their C-reactive protein, a marker of inflammation, amazing. It all looks beautiful. Their blood test looks absolutely amazing. Doctors are stunned, but their cholesterol is up. And for some of these people, quite a bit. Now they've got a cholesterol of 200, over 200 milligrams per deciliter, 300. Cholesterol in many carnivore and heavy animal-based diets goes up. And what happens when your cholesterol is above a threshold? Your doctor is going to advise you to take statins. Understandable. Statins work. They lower LDL cholesterol. Statins work for certain people. And the relative risk when you take statins of getting cardiovascular disease, for example, a heart attack, is definitely lower. And we'll get back to the relative risk in a moment. So now you're sitting there with your doctor. Your doctor's like, that's amazing. You lost 100 pounds. That's amazing. You're sleeping 8 hours a night. It's amazing. You don't have any brain fog. Everything is amazing, but your cholesterol's high and I want you to take statins. Now I understand them. I understand that this is protocol. So I understand that this is how doctors have been taught. But just taking that cholesterol number, that high cholesterol number in isolation and advise someone to take statins without looking at any of the other numbers, or not even without looking at them, but without considering any of the other numbers, that is something I wonder if it's the best approach. Now, there's other things you can do to see what your risk for cardiovascular disease is. There's something that's called a calcium score, a CAC score. Ask your doctor about this. What I just find interesting is that even though, and this is what people report back to me on the podcast as well, even though the doctor sees that these people have massively improved their health, this one little number is enough to start giving them medication. And I wonder if that is the right approach. Now, statins allow for a risk reduction, a relative risk reduction in cardiovascular disease among certain groups. But here's a tricky thing with statistics as well. So there's relative risk and there's absolute risk. All right, let me just give you an example completely outside of the statins realm because I don't have those numbers and I also don't want to get into trouble with any of you guys. Let's just come up with an example of... Okay, here we go. There's a certain number of people that fall down the roof of their house every year and they die. That's sad. I now have invented a product, a contraption that allows to reduce the number of deaths by falling down your roof by 50%. That's a lot. My product is halving the number of deaths. Amazing. Now I tell you that chances that you die when falling off your roof is 2 out of 100,000. Basically meaning 2 out of 100,000 people who fall off their roofs, they die. The other people will survive. I know it's a ridiculous number, but it's just an example. 2 out of 100,000 people die falling down a roof. I invented a product. This product reduces that by 50%. Now only one person out of 100,000 who falls off their roof dies. Do you see the difference? If I tell you there's a 50% reduction in risk of you dying, falling down your roof, if you get this product that I just invented, you'd be like, well, I sometimes clean my chimney I should get it. Until you hear that it's only 2 people out of 100,000 who fall down the roof and die anyway, which now gets reduced to 1. That's the absolute risk reduction. Now, bringing this back to statins. And again, I want to tread very carefully here. The relative risk that you often see mentioned in newspapers is not the absolute risk reduction. So, coming back to the carnivores, your whole blood panel has improved. And I'm not saying this is for everybody on carnivore, but I'm saying that a lot of people report this. An awful lot of people report this. So many metrics improve, their life improves, their quality of life improves, everything improves, but their cholesterol number goes up and they're being advised to take statins. I don't know. I just don't know. What do you think? I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. What do you think? Now, of course, the contraption that I made to make sure that 50% fewer people die when they fall off their roof doesn't have any side effects, other than it might be ugly in your garden. But any type of medication has side effects, and statins can have some serious side effects. Not everybody handles them well. Some people do, but a lot of people don't. Or maybe I should say, many people don't. So then to prescribe that and take that, is that really the best course of action? That's what I wonder. And that's my question I would like you to sit with. Now, another thing that's interesting to look at is the threshold that doctors use these days to determine whether your cholesterol is high or not. And now we're just talking about total cholesterol numbers. So decades ago, this was 300 milligrams per deciliter. That's where doctors started to say, your cholesterol is a little high. That number has gone down to already 200 milligrams per deciliter. So the threshold has gone down, which automatically means more statins are being advised. And there's a lot of money made in the statin industry. Just saying. I'm not saying cholesterol doesn't matter. I'm also not saying that statins should never be used. I'm also not saying that carnivore guarantees heart health. But context matters. Because if your health on carnivore improves across the board, isn't it reasonable to pause for a moment? Not to refuse treatment, but to ask better questions. Because when you put all of this together, does it make sense to you? Or does it almost feel like we're managing numbers more than we're managing health? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, and welcome to your upgrade. Thank you for watching the Patrick Alexander podcast.